someone asked the other day at the Hawaii game, they're like, "Oh, you guys must not do a broadcaster bites, for home games." I'm like, "What? We ate all week, right? We ate at the game, ate in between the game, started to scout. Let's not use that word. Research. Nope, don't use that word. But yeah, we have plenty of stuff to talk about in between the games. So I guess I'm going to start here, and we should probably get this out of the way. But I have a feeling we're just going to get ourselves in hot water because we're not good at apologizing. But the last broadcaster bites, I was told a story by some of the folks at UNLV, like Mark Wallington and Andy Grossman and others, that they'd asked us, "Hey, how was your El Paso trip?" And I was like, "It was wonderful. The food was good. We did a lot of research. We made good choices." And I think they had one complaint, and I turned that into something sounding like they botched the whole trip and they got no good food. What they had complained about is not finding a sports bar to watch the games at. And I think they also got scared off somehow by the place that we told them afterwards, Ojos Locos, which we have one here in town. But it really is a good sports bar. It's a little weird on Friday and Saturday nights because it turns into a club. And when you first walk in, you feel like you're being frisked for AK-47s. But it's safe. I just, it gets a little rowdy later at night. They just want to have security. But I think they got scared away by that. So I don't know. Do you want to apologize? Because, man, they were really mad. And especially, I'm going to blame you because I'm usually the culprit on this, like embellishing. And I threw it to you and I talked about research. And it was like, hey, it's important to research. Otherwise, your trip's going to get botched. And then you just came in over the top, and it was like lecturing from the pulpit.
I fanned the flames, and no, I don't want to apologize. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. So do the research. Now, I will say, perhaps, we did misinterpret their struggles.
Yeah.
And we played up to it, but that's what happens, all right? You know what's funny about it? The fact that Mark Wallington kept receipts. In response, he's like, "No, we did research. We had our picks. We just didn't do it all. We were ready." So I would like to say, kind of sorry for what happened, but I will say we've inspired you. We've inspired a crew on the travel squad to do the research and to do their due diligence. I think we've inspired a generation of broadcaster bites enthusiasts.
By the way, how about the listeners? We've had multiple listeners who are taking our theme, and sometimes they're ahead of us at the site, and then they're sending us where they went, different things that we were going to get, they got. No, all we want Mark and Andy and others to feel is there is pressure. Okay, we take this seriously, and there's in-house pressure.
Yeah.
If someone botches a meal choice, they hear about it, not once, but for a long time. These are one-off trips. Like, we ain't going back to Ann Arbor anytime soon, and we collectively bungled that trip. Each of us made bad choices. Yeah, and we have to live with that.
We have to live with it,
and it's not easy. It's not. Okay.
The nation was disappointed with us after Ann Arbor. We didn't do the trip justice. We let the people down. It was our fault, and we owned it 100%. If we had botched El Paso, which is known for the Mexican dishes, the authentic taste of Mexico, if we botched that and didn't taste the near border experience, if we didn't do the people justice, how could we live with ourselves? How can we make the next episode?
And I don't think people realize repercussions are, pardon my French, a bitch with broadcaster bites. Because I think there was payback, clearly, for many things on that El Paso trip for past failures. There was food at the stadium. One person got it, didn't tell anyone else. There was a Mexican meal where one person was like, "We're going now. Hey, what about so-and-so?" "Nope, we're going now." And now, it could be payback for past failures and flops, and you just have to accept it, and you have to live up to a certain standard, and we'll get all you guys there. Now, here's the thing. The UNLV home games, there is more pressure on first and foremost Mark Wallington, because we just realized, and it's funny, we hadn't really talked to him about this. This is, I guess we can call this block of the show, Mark's Menu. Ooh. Right? We'll have to come up with a catchier name, but Mark's Menu. He picks the food at Allegiant, and that's pressure. Because as we've talked about, the media, home and away, are grubby sons of bitches. I mean, they have high standards. They're getting free food. They will still complain. Yes, we're going to complain, but it doesn't mean you had bad menu choices. We got feedback on a lot of stuff. Now, first of all, I felt horrifically guilty because I've been hyping up Loco Moco to you for weeks, right? And you were like, don't like it. I'm like, okay, I don't know where the connection is missed here. But I mean, I got there and they had the menu cards out and I got really excited.
Yeah.
That felt like a special moment could be on the way because what do they have?
They had Loco Mocos. And you sent me a picture. I hadn't seen what, they set at the buffet table before the food actually comes out and they kind of have it labeled. You sent me a picture of the label and you're like, it's here. It's time. Let's do this. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I am not a fan. And there are listeners that I think get this. The way that I say this, it has to be said this way. I don't like things oozing into my mouth when I bite them.
Yikes.
And that's just the truth of it. When I was a kid, I would not eat gushers. I just would not do it because I can't stomach that. It's like a natural gag reflex that happens. My wife set me up. She knows this about me. And I had never been to Red Robin. That's news in and of itself. This is my first time going to Red Robin with her and her mother. It's absolutely appalling. I get it. They're supposed to be really good. I know the commercials, whatever. She had me order a burger that she said she think I would like. The burger came with an over easy egg in the burger. Now, it's a massive burger. There's bacon, lettuce, all the fixings on it. I don't really look and analyze my food before I eat it. So I go to bite into this burger and I bite into the over easy egg and it oozes and just completely caught me off guard, ruined my whole meal. I didn't eat the rest of the burger. I was pissed. I was livid. So I just don't like it. Now, the Loco Moco obviously has an over easy egg atop it. As Steve shows his picture of his plate, that the Loco Moco's gone at this point because he's already eaten it.
No. There's plenty left. I ate half and then I had to stop because I had to give my rating at that point.
It was like before it finished, you forgot to take the picture first. But as soon as I took my fork to it and the egg burst, I was like, it's one of those.
That's the magic of the meal. That's the problem for you. Yeah. I didn't realize that you weren't into oozing and gushing. That does ruin a lot of things. And it's a big thing now with eggs. A lot of people, like you said, on burgers, they're throwing eggs on burgers, and it's supposed to be over easy. And if you don't like runny yolk, then you're out. So I get that.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. Now, I will say for the team and for the people, I tried it. I suffered through it. I went and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish this. And I ate it. And again, we're the same. You're a child of the Depression. I just had to sit at countertops until I finished my meal. So I know how important it is.
I didn't know where that was going. I was like, we're countertops. I'm like, you're not that old. It's not to joke about it because it's not funny. That's actually a good reference since I was not around in freaking 1929 to the mid 30s.
Right. It's a running joke.
I'm a child of the recession of the 70s.
Yeah, you remember the gas lines, but we understand what it means to finish what you had on your plate. Oh, yeah. So I will finish it. So I ate it. I toughed it out. I'm just gonna tell you now, my rating ain't gonna be great, and it probably isn't the truest testament to how good the Loco Mocos were. But the rest of the menu, was good. So
we'll give Mark Wellington. Let's go head to head here or back to back. What was your Loco Moco rating? And given that you don't like him in the first place, this is tough.
It was a 49.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
And I would say the taste, the flavor did help. I think what I did too, strategy. I cut it and let the egg run, and I got it all out of the way. And then I kind of just tried to mentally say, it's a sauce. It's sauce. Yeah. It's like honey mustard, just pulled up in my plate. That's what I did to kind of deal with it.
So I love Loco Moco, and I was really excited. And I think I got mine late as compared to you. I kept going out, getting, research, getting ready for TV because, it's TV, it's different. And I walked out a couple times and there was a long line. When I finally got the Loco Moco, a couple of problems. And you know what I'm discovering this? And this is no fault of Mark's menu. And although maybe when he's considering the meals, this is something to take into account, but I'm not going to tell him to. He gets very touchy. Chafing dishes are good for some food and not good for others. And for some food, it just doesn't keep it hot. But here, this was the double dip with the Loco Moco. And we're doing the Pro Foodie Focus, so we rate things from 0 to 100. If something's in the 90s, it's like one of the best things we've ever eaten. In the 80s, is very good. 70s is more than solid. You start dipping in the 50s, 40s, 30s. I mean, it's bad. I really can't give it much more than a 51.3. Couple issues. I think the concept was good. Like the burger was solid. The rice, the gravy was good. But it wasn't hot. And it was hot at one point. So what happened was the egg got cooked over hard. So now I got a cold over hard egg. It was tough. Now here's the incredible thing. It is when you get stadium food in a media room, which again, thank you, Lord, that we get free food. It's great because we're there. I mean, you and I and Russ are there. What was the game? 1 o'clock. I mean, I was there at like 9:15, and then we didn't leave until like 6. Right. So you can go downstairs and pay $17 for a foot long, or you get the free food upstairs. We got really interesting takes from the Hawaii broadcast team. Guys come out, they got these green shirts on, pattern and everything, and I like almost immediately like, I'm so sorry, which is not my responsibility. It's the Allegiant crew that cooks the food and Mark's menu, and because I assumed everyone's Loco Moco was like mine. It wasn't hot and it cooked over hard. So one of the guys is like, what are you sorry for? And I was like, well, the Loco Moco, this is Caleb's first time. And he looked at me and he's like, I was shocked. He said it was great. And I look around, I'm like, you're Hawaiian. You know what you're talking about. So I kind of did the face on the palm and I was like, I got to think about this. So I actually did not walk away because we asked him about another item, which we'll tell you about. So there you go. I mean, they know the food. Yeah. I'm just a fat guy and maybe my palate sucks.
And he said it like, like a Hawaiian would. Like he's like, brother, it was good. It was good. And we both looked at each other like, was it? Like, I didn't know, but like that, it was like a moment. It was like, wow, Allegiant comes through again. We've gone on record. We've said before, like the pregame food at Allegiant is top notch. Like it's one of the best. It's one of the best we've been to. And this includes like when we go to Power 5 schools, because we've been like the food at Allegiant is top notch. So kudos to Mark for his menu. But for this one, it was like ultra refreshing. Like this guy from the island talking about island cuisine. And like, he was like, no, it was good. It was really good, brother. And I was like, oh, okay.
Then he turns around, and I don't know that this is the exact name of the chicken. You have it in front of you? I think the name was longer. I think you looked up the chicken, and you think it was what, Furanaki chicken? Is that what it is?
I want to say it was
Furakami chicken. The hell was it?
I think Fukam.
We didn't do the research.
We didn't do the research, and we're fumbling.
Furakaki.
Furakaki. Furik. That is that the one? Yeah. Yes, that was Furakaki chicken. Was also served.
No, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. No,
is it not right?
Furakaki is a dry Japanese condiment sprinkled on top of cooked rice and vegetables.
Well, the chicken was made with Furakaki sauce. It was like
we're gonna get hammered on this.
Yeah, we're gonna get ruined,
but we deserve
it. Furakaki chicken. It's a thing. You got to Google that, and then you'll see the picture, and it's exactly what was served. Furakaki. So it is a seasoning. It's a Japanese seasoning, which makes sense because a lot of Hawaiian food and island food is of that Japanese or Pacific Islander type, cuisine. So not a surprise. But the chicken, it was like if Chick-fil-A met orange chicken, but then had a splash of chicken katsu, then it was like that was what those chicken bites were. And they were just great. I mean, like it complemented the Loco Moco really well, in my opinion. Like it went well together. So I And then there was also a pork slider. Again, this is the second time we've had pork sliders this season, which you can't go wrong with a good pork slider. So I think the meal went well, actually. And like you were saying, the Hawaii side of things, as they're leaving after a loss, mind you, because they could have been bitter about losing and been like, no, everything sucked there. We hate it. Like, you're not the ninth island. Give us the title back. But the fact that they, in a loss, in defeat, like, stopping through the press box, and when we talked about the food, they're like, oh, no, brother, it was good. And we're like, oh, yes, it was good.
He said the chicken was honestly one of the best of that chicken he's ever eaten. He's from Hawaii. What a feather in the cap of the Allegiant chefs.
Like,
great job.
Chef's kiss. Like, they did great. Mark always does great. And he does the menu selection. So he goes there with the menus. He, like, when Vanderbilt came, there was like Nashville hot style chicken to play up to the guests. And it, like, so, kudos to there. This one, I think you take a risk when you try to go island cuisine and you're not really from there. Sometimes it goes bad. Sometimes the imitation isn't on point, but apparently the decision's been made. The guys from Hawaii said it was good. Our PFFs don't mean anything in the face of the expert saying it was one of the best he ever had.
This guy's claiming 80s and 90s for Loco Moco and the chicken.
Yeah.
Hey, have you put a little thought into... So obviously there's some more home games at Allegiant. The food's going to be solid too, really good. The rest of the road trips, the cities we're going to, I've got my spots and I'm excited to try some new spots. But I don't really account for road stadium food, and I'm just kind of surprised. But I'm trying to remember, does Fresno have anything?
Ooh, somewhere, and I don't want to confuse this with Fresno and San Jose State, but one of those places.
San Jose State had boxes.
Yeah, with
San Jose State had boxes. JVT said about 2 weeks ago he hates San Jose State. I remember being on the plane and eating the San Jose State lunch box, and yes. I was in heaven. And it might have been time and place, but so they're not going there this year. The rest of the games are at Reno. I don't remember Reno. Like, I think Reno's soda machine barely works.
No, what Reno does, and this is a thing, Reno does this. They don't give you much, but they do give you Reno-themed water bottles whenever UNLV is there. So the water that they give you has, like, the Wolfpack logo on the water bottle. So they're like,
rub it in.
Drink from our cup. So I mean, that's that. Maybe that's just how I take it, but that's what they do. It happens every time. We've got New Mexico, which the green chili is probably, we've got to find somewhere with the best green chili.
No, I'm talking about the stadium though, because
the stadium food, yeah, it's different.
New Mexico has a nice spread.
They do.
I don't think Air Force gives you anything, but I don't want to insult the military, so let's be careful on that. And I will go back one more time to Allegiant, because we also have to talk about, for a couple minutes, some food that we got the last week or so around Las Vegas. The worst thing I did the entire game, aside from below every one of Matt and Everett's TV calls, the worst thing I did was there was a brownie type dessert that was available. I didn't grab it, and there were cookies. I had one, and I think I went back out. I'm like, I got to get some more I need cookies at the half, and I think they were all gone. What a mistake! And I'm like a chipmunk. I store food everywhere.
Cookies at the half is brilliant.
Well, if the team's doing well and I think I did a decent job, then I get a cookie, little energy in the second half. So I thought I had a pretty decent first half aside, like I said, from stepping on Matt with like just guttural grunts on runs, Like I judged the success of a play. Like how much did I grunt? How like sickening was it when Courtney Reese broke out a run?
So I had one of each flavor of the cookies.
Oh wow!
There was one that was like a chocolate chip, they were cut like pie slices, like they were like triangles, and they were thick. I'm talking about like it was doughy. It's how I want cookies, right? It wasn't crunchy. It was like doughy. It had an M&M version, like with like candies inside of the cookie, which is always great. It reminds me of grandma's house. She used to make them at home every Christmas
The
with
best.
rainbow with Christmas colored M&Ms to fill the chocolate. It was fantastic. So it took me back. Then they had like the brownie one. It was like double fudge brownie with chocolate chips on it too. I had one of each, and there were like little cookie size slices of pizza, and I had one of each of those things, and I
Oh,
enjoyed
you got an appetite.
the hell out of them. It was great.
We actually did forget to mention the thing that could be the flashpoint on this episode of Broadcaster Bites. I really appreciate the fact that Allegiant has, it looks like an extensive menu of food for vegans or vegetarians. They have the Impossible meat. You know what I try it every time? And they had some meatballs with some sesame seeds on them. I thought it was more than good. I'll give it like a 67 on the meatballs. But, man, I told you about the meatballs, and I thought you were going to rip my head off.
Yeah, I will not live a lie. If you don't want meat, just say that. There's a salad at the beginning of every menu, of every buffet line. Get the salad if you don't want the meat.
Yeah.
Don't put that lie that you call Impossible meat at the end of pork sliders and Loco Moco and the delicious, because I don't want to say it, the chicken. Don't put Impossible meat at the end of that lineup and tell me, give it a try. No, I'm not. I will not live a lie. I don't know how it's made. I don't know what goes into it. But if being vegan or vegetarian was so appealing, it would stand on its own merit. Don't imitate meat to try to get me to be vegetarian. I'm not doing it. I want the meat.
Fair point. Are you willing to start a little bit of a revolution, a movement here to get like 15 or 20 media members to go up to Mark and say, that fourth chafing dish is coveted territory. Put some meat or some sort of substitute pasta in there. Get the Impossible out. I will not do that. I support Impossible.
I will do it. I will send around a petition. I will go next home game at Allegiant. I will have a clipboard and a paper. I need 35 signatures. If I hit 35, get it out of here. Yeah. We're sick of living lies. We want to tell the truth. We bring the people the truth. And Impossible meat is a lie. Stop the Impossible movement. I don't want it. Burger King has Impossible beef. Get out of here. That's not burger. That's salad shaped like a burger. Get it out. Yeah. No, I don't want it.
Yeah, we actually had a very scary moment. We had Ray Regal in as, by the way, we have a lot of depth, like the offensive line does for UNLV. Ray was our engineer, and there was a scary moment, and I shouldn't tell this because it's his story to tell. But Russ had one of those meatballs in front of me, took a bite out of it, and he was like, "This is shit!" And he picked it up and threw it at Ray, and we're like, "Russ, we understand. You're a skinny guy. You like your meat, but come on, it's Ray's first time, and it's the David Hum Memorial Booth. Let's not stain the wall with some sesame, dark sesame sauce. It's not right." So that happened. Everything we talk about is 100% accurate. It's never embellished on the show. All right. Should I save it? You know what? I'm going to save one of my things for a future what happened locally in the last week or so. I think yours is better, so I'm going to set yours up. I'm going to wait here for a second. I'm just going to talk about restaurant and sort of travel experiences here, and this will tell you who I am. You know me to be, I'm very into food. I'm very into the road trips. I'm very into dive bars, but I'm also very frugal. And I will spend, but then I will whine about what I spend on. This is classic me. So I think it was after the game. Yeah, because the game was done early. Mm-hmm. I had an old boss in town and some coworkers from Sirius XM, and I used to do the Fight Channel there back in, I think, I don't know what it was, set 2007 to 2014. And I go downtown, and on the weekends, the Fremont area drives me nuts because I think we can all remember when we would go down there 10 years ago. They're like, "Thank you so much for coming. Would you like us to park your car for free?" Like, everything was free. Now you go down there, and it's like Like I like the lot at Main Street Station because I don't mind walking over there. It's $20, and there were no
Mhm.
spots. There was like hardly any spots. I'm like, all right, screw this. I'm like, let's go to downtown Grand and go to the valet, right? So we go to the valet, and like we literally the SO and I will fight about like the silliest things because she gets nuts with my frugality, and like I will literally park a few thousand feet away, and she's going crazy about it. So I go to the valet, and then I get in my head because I see the valet is $25, and there's really nowhere to validate except one spot. So I'm like, we're getting drinks there. I'm going to pay for this, get it validated. And she's like, a couple of drinks is not going to cover it. It's not going to work. And it was just like, and then the more she says it, I'm like, God, this is going to work. So then we go over there. I think she got like a $16. I forget what drink she got. A martini, maybe. And then I get a beer. It's like $7. I'm like, another round. Let's go. So now, because I'm getting crazy because I'm like, the bill has to be high enough so that they'll, give us the valet for free. They're going to validate it. We're going to do this. So then at that point, I'm at like another round. Now I'm at what, $46. I'm like, okay. Then the group I'm meeting decides to come over, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? Come over on my bill because I'm getting this 25 covered with a good validation. So by the time we get done, they got a couple of snacks before we actually went to the restaurant we're going to. One got a shrimp cocktail. It was like $24. The other got a mac and cheese. Then they get like 2 Prosecco's and a drink. And I'm like, I got it. We have validation, right? All going to be covered. Tip, okay, $162.
Jesus.
Yeah, but I'm not going to pay for the valet. It worked. It's an even trade-off. But the best part about it, because listen to what I just did. I spent $162 so I would not have to pay $25 for parking because it drives me nuts. It is stupid. But you know what? I don't mind it. It's an old boss. I'm treating him. But then the best part about it is I walk up with a validation ticket. I got the receipt out because, it's, and the kid at the validation is like, oh, cool. Yeah, he puts a sticker on. I'm like just sitting there with the receipt. He's like, all right, have a good night. Didn't even check the receipt. I could have got a bottled water and been good.
You could have picked up someone else's receipt out of the trash.
Good point. Yep. I am an idiot, but I actually was not that unhappy. I thought about it at the end of the night. I'm like, man, I spent a good chunk of change just to get that free parking. And by the way, crazy? I know the SO, as I call her, the significant other, on that valet ticket for $25. I guarantee she tipped $20. Guarantee it. Just to spite me.
The funny thing is, this is what they want, Steve. They want you to go crazy spending at the place when they know parking was free 2 years ago. Yep. They know that. They know they're making you jump through hoops to get it validated. Because we're men of principles. We're not paying for parking. We won't do it. I have an out though. I have a cheat code. So I like downtown area. If I do go, which I don't go often, but when I do go downtown, I have a workaround. The parking problem. If you're willing to walk, because I can park downtown for free.
Oh, really?
So let me know next time you want to head downtown. I don't know even where to go downtown anymore. Most of the stuff that I used to go to is closed now. So That'll
be my luck. I'll park where you say. I'll park slightly off. I'll get back to the car. They'll arrest me, and I'll be in CCDC. But I didn't pay for parking. And I forgot to add the other part. We went back to the downtown Grand because that's where the valet is. I'm going to shout him out here. My friend Ryan McKinnell is a true gangster. He got a couple of drinks, which I then paid for. So more money. And he has the parking ticket, and he gives it to the bartender. He's like, hey, can I get this validated? She's like, oh, yeah. He didn't spend anything.
Just walked in.
All he did was ask. But you know what? Here's the problem. You remember the face that I showed you on our previous podcast? Let me bring it up again. This is the problem. I don't look nice or inviting. So people are like, no, you're paying. We're not giving you anything for free. So I got to smile more. That's the whole thing. I mean, look at that. That when you walk up and you're like, hey, I'd like free parking. That's not going to work. It's not going to work.
You know what I want? This is good. I'm gonna pitch this to ESPN Las Vegas for Cofield and Company. You should be Santa, and
Yeah, right.
you should do Santa with that face, like just because I know quiet as kept. You're a Christmas guy, and
Yeah,
believe it or not, I've been thinking about dusting off my Christmas stuff at this point already. It's October. We're here.
yep.
So you with that face and Santa garb,
Yeah.
I'd pay for that.
What do you want, kids? It's like Belichick as Santa. I got to show you one more picture before you close out strong here with your meal. Who has a meaner face when he's actually happy? You ready?
Yeah.
This was post game. The man had rushed for 98 yards. They won 44-20. He scored a touchdown. It was a breakout game. Is that amazing?
That looks like someone stole his dog and he's gonna get them. Like,
Dude,
oh
Senator Donnie Lester had that face on for like 19 minutes, and I sat like 12 feet across from him, and even I was like, "God dang, dude, you're intense." He never broke character.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Never satisfied.
He's like,
That is-
"Yeah," he's looking at me. He's like, yeah, smart move.
That's the Raising
162
Canes.
to save on parking, you idiot.
That's the Raising Canes player of the game right there. Never
Yep.
satisfied.
Yep. There you go. Okay, we got to close out strong here. You mentioned something incredible. We have some amazing openings coming up. We talked about Whataburger a couple weeks ago. We have Whataburger coming to town. I think Portillo's, Chicago, hot dogs and Italian beef is starting to sniff around, right?
Yep.
There's another big one. Bojangles is coming, and then Zippy's out of Hawaii.
Yes.
Zippy's is so big in Hawaii. They got 22 locations. They're going to open a spot on, I think it's Rainbow and 215. It's on Bedora. I have the address memorized. It's 7095 Bedora. But I got so scared by something I saw this week in the RJ. It said rules for opening day at Zippy's. I think they're expecting like 5,000 people, and they're like, please, the parking lot's small. Like, don't overrun us. What do you know about this Hawaiian classic Zippy's?
So I have many people in my past that are Hawaiian. And I learned about Zippy's in one of my previous excursions to Hawaii. Micah Mataeli, one of my favorite receivers, put me onto Zippy's. Zippy's is top-notch Hawaiian cuisine. It is phenomenal. I love Zippy's. So I will probably be one of the people who's like acting like an animal trying to get into Zippy's. But I had Zippy's. There's a Zippy's.
Wait, how?
There's a Zippy's. I don't know, and I didn't know until one of my coworkers. Again, I have some Hawaiian friends at work decided to bring Zippy's in. And I didn't know. I had heard you on Cofield and Company talking about Zippy's coming and how they missed an opportunity to open when Hawaii was in town. And it was like, that would have been great. But he comes in and there's plastic with Zippy's on top of it. And I'm like, wait a minute. How did you get Zippy's? Apparently, there's a Zippy's somewhere. So I just had Zippy's today.
All right.
And
that's an amazing mystery. Are you sure?
I don't know.
You didn't have like an inn at the hiring center and they got like sample food there? Because I know where the hiring center is.
It's possible. And if you know where the hiring center is, why haven't we staked it out yet? What's going on? What's up with that?
I would never expect them to have food there, but apparently maybe they're actually training people there and they're like, hey, you got to try the food.
Or maybe he just, I don't know if he flew something in from Hawaii and just kept the Tupperware very fresh. But he brought Zippy's. Where did he go? I'm like actively searching for it.
What'd you have?
And I had the fried chicken. They have like their fried chicken. Then I had the beef. I don't know. It's not what is it? It's not Kobe beef, but it's like cut that beef, skirt steak. I don't know what it's called, but it's drenched in sauce and it's great. And then they have a chili that they make. I don't know the official name for it, so I don't want to butcher it, but there's a chili that they make with rice. And that's what I had, and it was great. And I was like a pleasant surprise at work. I had packed my own lunch, I meal prepped and everything. I was completely content eating my healthy meal, and then he brings in Zippies, and I'm like, wait, what is that? And he's like, it's Zippies, bro. And I'm like, Zippies? What? They're open? And he's like, yeah, I got Zippies. And I'm like, where'd you get this from? And he's like, don't ask questions. Do you want it or not? And I was like, I do want it.
This
Give me
guy's
the
got black
Zippies.
market Zippies. He's got it. Yeah, he's got to be getting samples as they train people so they can describe the food.
I don't know what
That's
the
a connection.
happenings were.
That is a
It's
connection.
a deep connection. I'm not even gonna ask like who he knew and how he got it, but I had Zippies. It was great.
Wow.
It's Zippies. So
I'm so jealous.
we've had Hawaiian food in town. So it's not like it's new. We know what the cuisine is. There's places like L&L's, Hawaiian barbecue, like these places that, you know, people are familiar with Hawaiian food. Is there even a comparison? Like, is it like close? Do people really think that Hawaiian barbecue is as good or better than Zippy's?
I don't know. We'll ask the audience. I'll tag it in social when we send it out because the opening's coming up here on October 10th, and I'm curious. And I don't know. I've always been curious about some of the fast food places. I always go crazy when I see Jollibee, which is more Filipino.
Yeah.
I'm dying to try that. So I got to get on my game. If it wasn't so late tonight, I would probably just go get some Hawaiian food right now. But good news, John Von Tobel actually, he said he's been on a Hawaiian food kick, so he's been on a run lately. So we're the
What
ninth
does that
island.
mean? What does that mean?
I think like 3 nights. I think 3 nights in a row. Right now he's in a zone where he feels some extra freedom, and I don't know if he lives a life of servitude, and you know he's denied a lot of stuff. But his wife and kids are in Central California for 2 weeks, so. Yeah, when they go, and I think they go at least once or twice a year, he's always like, "Oh, I got the fun pass. I can do anything I want." And then I'm like, "Hey, what'd you do today?" I sat home and wrote the whole day for VSIN. Got a lot of work done. I'm like, wow, you really went crazy.
You're such an animal.
And I had a lot of Hawaiian food, apparently.
But I will attest, Hawaiian food is awesome. It's great. I could survive on spam musubis. So I'm all for it. My son loves it. Anytime I ask him what he wants for dinner, there's like a Hawaiian barbecue around the corner from like in one of the shopping centers. Anytime I leave it to him, like what does he want for dinner, he says that first.
Oh wow!
And
nice.
it's like off the top, he's like Hawaiian barbecue, no, not tonight, and then he goes to his next option.
Well,
but he's always Hawaiian food first.
I can't say we. You can say it, but I guess if you want to, you could close up by saying sorry. UNLV beat your ass, Hawaii, and now we got your food here too. So, but
we took your pineapple, and we're taking the rest of your food too.